Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I decided to do a spring makeup look. Now this look is going to be inspired by the new MACPATRICKSTARRR collaboration. He did this like really cool spring collection with MAC, and I saw most of the shades that were in that like color scheme, and I figured why not just do an inspired look with some shades that I already have that are like close to the colors that are in that collection. So I didn't want to spend another $50 to $100 on another collaboration with, you know, a big influencer. Although I do love to support, but I've just been spending so much money and I'm like on this no buy thing. So yeah, all of the products will be listed down below. That way if you guys need to refer to anything that I'm using, also the shades and everything that I have, that way if you're the same complexion as me, you can get a good idea of how the color is going to look on you. So I decided to use the Clinique foundation for this makeup look. I wanted to try it out again because although sometimes when I do my foundation reviews, sometimes my skin is not at its best, so I decided to go ahead and, you know, keep trying out the different foundations just to get a good feel for everything. And I definitely don't want you guys to think that I'm just doing these foundation reviews and you never see me wear the foundation again. Now I love my NARS foundation because it makes my skin look like butter. But yeah, I just wanted to show my other foundations some love. So yes, I came back out with the Clinique foundation and it actually looks pretty good. And yeah, no complaints about that. So yeah, this is the powder that I use to mattify my foundation. So anytime you hear me say that this is what I'm using, I just use like a complexion brush or like a powder brush just to blend everything and make it look like skin. So I'm pretty much just setting that foundation to make it a little bit more matte than the dewiness that it was showing. So you probably can't really see the dewiness from the video, but it's definitely there in person. Now these are my top two concealers that I like to use from Colourpop. This shade, I think it's Deep 42. They recently changed the name, so I had to figure out which new one or which shade was the same shade that I was using before, because I think it was like Deep 60 or something. So I'm using that as far as to cover up my darkness under my eyes, and then I'm going to go in with a brighter one just to smooth out everything and make my under eyes look a little more bright. Then I'll go in with the lighter Colourpop concealer and prime my eyes with it. I like to use my fingers because the last time I used a brush, the product wasn't like spreading out evenly. So I like to use my fingers just to make sure that the product lays very well. Now this is like my third time using this Peach Perfect translucent powder by Too Faced. Haven't got to talk about it much, but it does apply translucent and it literally tastes like sugar. So I've been loving this translucent powder, and I've been going on like a translucent powder binge. I've been just buying all the powders that I see just because I want a collection of powders, that way I never run out. So I've been liking this. It's really nice and it doesn't like set like really ashy. It sets like super translucent. So I'm just going to use my 35B. I'm going to show you each color, or yeah, each color that I use out of this palette. These are the colors that I thought was closest to the MACPATRICKSTARRR collection. I don't know how you guys feel about the pigmentation of MAC products, but I feel like it sometimes doesn't show up very well on my skin tone. Now I do have a few shades that I wanted to try out, but I don't use them as much, and I don't really talk about my MAC eyeshadows, so I honestly don't know how the pigmentation looks on me with brighter colors because I haven't tried them out. But I've definitely tried this palette out a few times, and I felt like it is pretty pigmented. Now, I will say that this palette is, like, the formula is very dry, so you'll have to work with some of the shades to get it to apply. I can't even talk. You'll have to work with some of the shades to get it to apply how you want it to lay. Now the neon colors apply really, really well, but it seems like the darker shades, like the deeper it goes, the drier the formula is. So sometimes it could come out really patchy, or sometimes, you trying to like blend it out, it won't blend very well. So I've learned, like, sometimes you just have to change the tools that you use, and I feel like synthetic brushes apply the best with this 35B palette. Now I have to watch a few more tutorials with it, and I've actually posted a tutorial using the palette, and I couldn't get the like green to work very well, and then I think I used the purple and yellow before and the orange, and those apply really well. So you just gotta like test it out, swatch out some colors on your hand before you actually put it on your, your eyelids to see, or just to make sure that it's the color that you want and it's not like super dry on your skin or whatever. Okay, and I did forget to mention you can use your own like alternative to the actual colors and then the concealer and the translucent powder. I was just using the products that I already have that I've been just testing out just to make sure I like them. So like when I use my different concealers, I do have a matte concealer that I like to use to do my cut creases, which is what I'm showing you now. But you can use any type of concealer to do a cut crease, or any type of concealer to conceal and highlight. So I'm not saying, use the actual things that I use, but this is what I like to use when I'm doing like my everyday looks or even just YouTube tutorials. So yeah, I forgot to say that in the beginning. I'm so sorry. The whole point of it to be like an affordable makeup look was with the palette, because the palette is only like $23. Now it does sell out quite often, so if you can grab it, I would go ahead and grab it because it has every color you need. Or that BH Cosmetics palette that has like every color in the world in that palette. So I would just give you guys an affordable option just so you can see like these same colors that are in that collection are in this Morphe palette. Now it's probably not going to be spot on, but it's close, you know what I mean? Now, a lot of times when you see makeup tutorials, it goes by super quick, and sometimes people like to follow along because I know I do. So I will say you will have to dab back into some of those shades just to intensify the shades that you're already laying down. So that's why I went ahead and went with that neon color, because it was for sure deeper than the lighter shade that I used prior. So just to let you guys know, you will have to, go in multiple times just to make sure that pigment is there and that you're blending everything smoothly so that the makeup look comes out how you want it to look.